Getten brothers. My name is Chris. This is my brother Mike. We are the creators of the musical short film Valleys.
We're here to answer some of your questions. Valleys is a musical short film. It started out just as the songs, and we kind of wanted to share them in a way that wasn't just, putting them on SoundCloud or something like that, which we could give people a little bit more insight into what we're talking about and what our emotion was when we made the music. So I think that kind of inspired the screenplay, and Chris really headbanned the screenplay himself and just really had the vision for it, and I was just kind of there just to, bounce ideas when he was kind of stuck. But you want to talk a little bit more about that?
Word, yeah. It's definitely a joint process, even with a couple other people. It's always been an evolving thing over the past, of course, 5-6 months that we've been working on it. But like Mike said, with the music being first, and then we wrote the screenplay, and it kind of all evolved from that. And we went through so many different people, interviewing to film it and stuff like that. And went through the whole process of filming, which was in itself a fun experience, because we've never done that before.
That was definitely something new, and we just want to thank Creative Doorway for all that they brought to the table, and they also had a lot of, obviously, their creativity into the process, and we're just lucky to have found a company as such, and we look forward to working with them some more.
Also Brown Cuban too, helping with engineering the music and really helping us understand how to mix, because that's something that we're bringing to the table now, being able to engineer music to the point where you can give it to someone to master it. And
right, we're still very
amateur.
Novice, amateur, and everything thus far in this whole spectrum. But it's just fun to grow and to evolve and see where it takes us.
That's a good question. I like what Russell Simmons said, where with what's the name of his internet brand? It's like Def something.
All Def Media.
All Def Media or something like that. He said, he'd rather let the fan come to him and classify what they see that product as, and let them formulate what that brand means to them, because everyone has their own opinion, and in the end, you don't want to think for other people. You want to let them. That's the cool thing about art. When we went to MoMA in New York City, you look at all those different pieces of art. Everyone tells a story, but it's not like the artist is standing up there with a newspaper, reading about what his piece was inspired by.
Right. I think the art is who would like it. I don't know, to be honest. All we know is if there's something that we think that we created that we don't hate, there's gonna be some people that like it. But I'm not 100% sure.
Yeah, well, there's definitely going to be a lot of people that like it, simply for the fact that we're moving towards a more intellectual society. And I think that's something that we kind of pride ourselves with our music. It's not very prerogative. No, what's the word? I don't know. But it's not
provocative.
Yeah, provocative. It's not a negative type of music. It invokes positive emotion, because we're talking about positive imagery,
Yeah, it's just weird looking back on it now, because we made the music, I felt like it was so long ago, and the things that we talked about were where we were at that time, and I still think they're relevant, but if I was to make it again now, that music, I think I would have said some things differently.
Ooh.
I'll go to the second part of that question, and for our music in general, I just want to, make people feel good, make myself feel good, make my brother feel good with the music, have fun with it, make everyone have fun. There's nothing more than that. You can go so deep into it, trying to change the world or change this or that, but I think if people are having fun, that you are changing the world for the better in one way or another.
Yeah. And I think that's something that we're realizing in this whole new age mentality, the whole Christ consciousness thing, that we don't have to be playing these magnificent roles as we're all everyday people. We're all average people in the end. And all we're doing is meant to live our lives to the best degree that we can and help people and be honest and trustworthy and, you know, just good role models and stewards for people around you, because that's how you almost invoke change subconsciously.
Right. At a small scale, like it doesn't have to be like at a huge scale, like hundreds and thousands of people, like in a venue or something like that, because that's definitely powerful, being on that type of platform, being able to get your message out to that many people. But I think if you affect one or two people in a positive way, like that's just as powerful.
100% agree, man. So like for the second half of that question, what are we looking to accomplish with Valleys? I think it's just people being able to identify that we exist right now. We're almost just showing people like we exist. This is the type of art that we're moving towards, but it's also not, you know, and anywhere. It's like a drop in the ocean, you know. It's one piece of art that we made. It doesn't define us as artists. That's something.
It's cool. It's like a rookie card. But that was the first part of the question. Valleys part is the first part.
Oh, that's the second.
But yeah, it's like a cool rookie card that like we had a lot of fun doing, and we're just looking forward to you know, sharing it with as many people, and then going into that sophomore production and really enjoying that one as well, just as much.
I think that's a very good point. You know, people can take the art then and criticize it and compliment it, whatever it may be, and we can almost put it to rest in our books and say, like, let's move to the sophomore project, let's move to the next page, and be able to look back on Valleys as an experience, a learning experience.
Well, we got involved in music kind of young. Like Chris was taking drum lessons. I took guitar lessons for a little bit, but I don't know, how long did you take them for?
Like a couple months.
Yeah, just a couple months. You know, just kind of like, I don't know, one reason or another. Like we were playing hockey a lot that time, so it wasn't like our main focus. It was kind of just like introduction to it. But I remember, like, music was always just interesting to me. Like in school, like it was probably like in elementary school and like middle school, it was like the most interesting class besides like art class. But like I had a lot of cool teachers, like Miss Breslin and Miss Greenspan, who like, she would play all like the old school like classic rock and like the Beatles and everyone.
Right?
Miss Greenspan, yeah, she got us into all that stuff, and
yeah,
I thought that was really interesting. Like Strawberry Fields Forever, I was like, what is this?
Right?
What is this music? It's crazy. Love it.
Definitely. That's something that's incredible, is like thinking about the journey of listening to music. Like when you start out, and what's like the first music you listen to when you're young, and how you transition from that to different genres, and really expanding your palette and really seeing why people like different types of music. Like if you think about it, we weren't listening to Native American like Dream Radio a couple of years back.
Yeah,
you know?
that's a good station on Pandora.
And like, you know, even classical music, you know, kind of expanding to the realm of really listening to the sounds of the spheres, and, you know, music that doesn't have that lower vibration, you know, it's different, you know, because we're so exposed to that nowadays. When you look at 90% of the people that, you know, listen to hip hop, they only listen to hip hop. They won't listen to anything else. And same thing about, you know.
Yeah, it's good to you know, listen to all the different types of music, because they all derive in the same place.
For sure.
And, everything is music at the end of the day, because everything is sound, everything is vibration. So music, I think, is the most universal thing that relates to everyone, because you don't have to understand the lyrics typically, like, but you just feel the emotion of the music. And I remember a quote that was pretty cool. Like they said, art is decorating space, music's decorating time. So it's kind of like a way to you know, paint time. If that makes sense. I think it does.
That's insane, definitely. So to hit on the first part, no, it was the second part of the question.
Whatever the part.
So whatever the part was, but about how did we get involved in music? So yeah, taking drum lessons, but I think Flowbotics TV and the internet marketing that we were doing and helping musicians was like really when we got involved in music and said, you know, like, let's start making music. And it was mostly for the reason that a lot of people that we worked with, it was looking like they were trying to get famous. They weren't trying to put out music with a message. I think that's where we kind of like said, you know what, let's just mess around, make some beats, you know, write some lyrics, and try to put out something with a little bit of meaning. So
That was fun. That was a lot of fun. Shout out to Liberty Street, and the Robins.
Definitely hooking up some knowledge, and you know, life goes on. You know, you not that you rotate, but you change groups of friends and people that come into your life. They teach you what you were meant to learn.
Current state of the world right now is I feel like it's in its infancy still. It's like in its birth, you know? Like there's so many events that have happened in the past that can go down as like the earth, like looking up into this whole 2012 and what happened on 2012 was this the apocalypse, what's going on, like is the world over, is about to end, still about to end? I don't know. I think it's about to begin. Like I think we're really starting to recognize like who we are as people, who we are as a race, and what our place is in the universe. And like I think the only direction to go for the world is up right now.
That's so harmonious to what I was gonna say. Is the current state of the Earth is beginning its transition into a Type 1 civilization. We're entering that stage where...
What's a Type 1 civilization?
Like in the sense of where we're intergalactically trading ideas with different energies, because you know we don't know what extraterrestrials are. We don't know anything. You know, all we know is our intuition and what we're bringing into this new world, like you were saying.
I think definitely an important like part of becoming that type of civilization is just being independent, as far as like not needing to disrupt the natural environment to have a civilization. Like for sure. Like that's where the harmony comes in, because we need to be in harmony with
free energy type of reality where people can move off the grid, be able to exist without the hustle and bustle mentality.
Companies like Tesla, SpaceX, like companies that are really like forward thinking and making it happen. Like I think that's where we're at right now, and
it's a crazy concept, man. Like thinking about the current state of the world, because we're just little people, you know, we're just little ants going through our little daily routine. You know, we can't make an accurate...
Yeah, that's true. We can only know really the state of our world.
Yeah.
What is the state of our world that we live in? And, you know...
That's maybe the most important thing, because, you know, when you bring that harmonious nature, it goes back to what we were talking about in the term namaste, and respecting other people's worlds. And, you know, like when you look at someone killing someone else, like you're effectively ending someone's world. They're no longer existing in that state of existence, you know, because we could talk about the afterlife or whatever, another question, but who knows in the end, you know, like many people have said, the only thing I know is nothing.